What's going on, everybody? This is MDENT313, and I'm back at y'all with another one. Listen, first and foremost, I want to give CJ Goodfellas Sports TV a lot of credit because he brought this to my attention. He mentioned it briefly in his video he just recently did, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe the video, the thumbnail had Ryan Garcia in it, because Ryan Garcia been out here on another, racist rant, if you will. So what I want to talk about is, it was something he brought up in his video, and it was referring to the media treatment of Caleb Plant versus Devin Haney. The reason why in my thumbnail I put one hero, one villain, same scenario, is because a couple of days ago, Devin Haney, not himself, but his team, he was getting heckled by a fan. The fan was screaming all type of racist obscenities to Devin Haney, and Devin Haney, being a professional, was going out of his way to try to ignore and avoid this particular fan. The fan get closer to him, get in his personal space. His team had to rectify that situation, if you will. Now, recently, Caleb Plant, great guy, got a lot of respect for Caleb Plant as well, one of my favorite fighters in the sport of boxing. Same scenario that happened to Caleb Plant, but I want to talk about the media coverage of it. Because Caleb Plant's situation happened first, so when this situation happened, as a man, I understood why he had to handle the situation, or why his team had to handle the situation how they had to handle it. In addition to that, when Devin Haney's situation happened to him, I also understood why his team had to handle the situation like they handled it. Certain scenarios, that's what you pay your security and your team for, to protect you and keep bad things from happening to you, right? That's what you pay your security for, and that's what you pay your staff for. Well, when Caleb Plant did it, the media didn't cover it. When his team did, I don't want to say him, but when his team did it, the media they didn't talk about it, they didn't cover it, they just kind of swept it under the rug, as they should have, right? When the same thing happened with Devin Haney, everybody's complaining about how his team handled that fan. Even though his team handled that situation the exact same way, the media is in an uproar and an outrage over how Devin Haney team handled the situation. Now, what's the only difference between Devin Haney and Caleb Plant? You got it, right? I don't have to actually say the exact term, but you get the picture. And the media, just like they do in politics, right? The media is the problem why you have certain things still continuing to go on. They like to portray certain people as the hero, and then they like to paint the other, people as the villain, right? It's bad enough that you have to do this in sports. I don't believe you have to, but it's bad enough that they do this in sports, especially boxing, to where they have to draw up this storyline, so they make these unnecessary wars against different nationalities of people to try to sell a fight. But they don't understand that when they go out here and do these things, things get personal between two groups of people where it shouldn't have to go, and it don't need to go, but the media get their rocks off and get money on, based on creating these fake beefs, right? I remember when the whole East Coast, West Coast thing was going on with Tupac and Biggie, where many interviews, Tupac and Biggie both came out and say, listen, this not about an East Coast, West Coast thing, it's just a problem between two guys, but the media is blowing this out of proportion and making it bigger than what it is, making it worse than what it is. And I completely agree 1,000%. it's funny that when we do things, right, no different than the P. Diddy situation versus the Josh Giddey situation. Same exact scenario, but we paint one guy as the monster while we completely ignore one guy's transgressions. So this guy, for doing the same exact thing as this guy, he's treated like a monster, a villain, a boogeyman. His reputation is destroyed. His image is destroyed. His legacy is destroyed. Which, if you want that to be the case, that's fair. But why, when it's this person over here, you don't treat them the same way in a society that's supposed to be equal, right? How can you punish one guy for doing something while simultaneously rewarding another guy for doing the same thing? You're not giving the other person that's doing the wrong thing, you're not giving them no incentive to change if you're going to reward their bad behavior. It's almost akin to if you have two kids, right? And you have one kid who's getting A's and B's on their report card, and they doing their chores, and they very respectful, mild manner. And then you have another kid who's getting D's and F's, who has bad behavior, terrible citizenship, and don't do their chores and clean up. But on birthdays and Christmas, you celebrating them the same way. You're giving them the same things. So number one, you're not giving the one kid an incentive to continue to do good, and then the kid that's doing bad, you're not giving them no incentive to do better. Right? We have to stop rewarding bad behavior, and we have to stop making one group of people the villain by default. You know, one of the saddest things, you know, as a fan of sports, but particularly of boxing, when we're all Americans, even though we're different colors, right? We're all Americans. We put just as much blood and sacrifice into this country, if not more, than other groups of people. But you will have a black fighter fighting a foreigner, right? Literally from a different country. And the black fighter would get booed here in America where he's from, and a person that's from a different country would get cheered for. How ridiculous is that? How sad is that? So no matter what you do, you automatically are considered the villain. Even if you don't want to be, even if you never done anything to be a villain. Devin Haney has done nothing to be a villain. He was the guy who was cheated. But yet we praise and celebrate Ryan Garcia for cheating the man. Yeah, he beat him, but he did it only because he cheated the man. And for people who like to say, oh, well, he would have beat him anyway. Well, we'll never know, now will we? Because he had to cheat. But yet and still, Devin Haney is being punished for being cheated, as well as being punished for his team protecting him. Meanwhile, Ryan Garcia isn't punished for cheating him, as well as Caleb Plant isn't punished for his team defending him. When is America going to change? When is the media going to be held accountable for their lack of treatment for certain groups of people? Now, the funny thing is, if you stand up and talk about this, they'll tell you to shut up, quit crying, quit complaining. They're almost trying to shame you into suffering in silence. But when the shoe was on the other foot, when other people complain about mistreatment, oh, it's okay to listen to them, you know, because of mental health issues and how this could cause mental health issues. Why, when it comes to the plight of other people, everybody's so understanding, but when it comes to the plight of my people, nobody seems to care? This is getting absolutely disgusting and ridiculous. But let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Like, share, and subscribe.